Hello everybody and welcome to my Porsche 991.2 GT3RS, just upgraded by Manthey-Racing. As many of you viewers will know, the best in the business, basically they are Porsche Motorsport. And they are located really close to where I'm standing now, which is just behind those trees and hills, is the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the world's most amazing and challenging racetrack, in my opinion at least. They are, like I said, they are basically Porsche Motorsport, but you can also bring your road car there and have them set it up for all the racetracks you want, and also especially the Nordschleife. Now, what is the cool thing about Manthey-Racing is that, of course, to my opinion, nobody has more experience than them, because they have won multiple times the 24 hours at the Nürburgring. They have won Spa, they have won Le Mans, which is really cool to know that you can just take your basically a road car, although it's almost like a street car, race car, but you can bring your street car and just take it to a proper racing team and have it completely set up with all the factory knowledge. To my opinion, to my knowledge, I don't know any other car brand that you can do this with. Of course, you have many great tuners and setups for BMW and Audi, but when you go to Manthey with a Porsche, it's like really going to Porsche Motorsport and having them use all their experience and all their knowledge and really set up your car how it should be and how they set it up for all their record attempts. They also did the car that has the world's fastest lap around the Nordschleife, and that's a GT3RS MR for Manthey-Racing. It's a complete bigger upgrade than I did for the GT3RS. It costs around 90,000 euros, including the magnesium wheels, which I don't. I have the stock aluminum rims. But for 90,000 euros, you get a lot. It's almost like your real race car, you know. That's what Chris Harris and also Lars Kern, the factory test driver and racing driver of Porsche that did the record, says. They say it's, once you really try it, the MR package of the GT3RS, there's no going back. And I can believe them 100%. They have better, bigger aero upgrades, you know, the wing, the end plates are bigger. Just check it out, the GT3RS MR that did 6 minutes 40 seconds around the Nordschleife, which is incredible, crazy fast. Now, to go more about my upgrade, I didn't go as far as doing a complete upgrade, which is not yet available actually, because the aero upgrade of the GT3RS, they are still testing it and developing it. So there's no way of getting it right now, but they told me it will be, normally it will come in the future, and it will entail the same upgrade on the wings and everything. But as I said, they're still testing it to make sure that everything is working properly. Now, my upgrade. We left the stock suspension of Porsche, which is a great suspension, but basically they put in extra shims on the front and also on the back. Now, why did they put extra shims? And that is because you can alter like this, you can alter more camber to the tire. Now, for a lot of viewers that I'm sure that you guys, you know what camber does and what it's for. But for those who don't, camber is basically, I don't know if you can see this right now, if I move around, is basically the angle that the tire is standing. Now you can see that this tire, normally it's flush. Let me watch out for this car that I don't get run over. And basically what the tire does, normally it's standing really almost flush with the front here, but now you can almost see that the tire is really leaning to one side and it goes in like this. Now, what is that for? Now, camber is adjusted, and you can really see it in extreme with race cars, that race cars are really strong camber, that the tire are really sticking outwards. And that is because in heavy cornering and high-speed cornering, the tires, there's so much force on the tire that the tire gets pushed almost really hard, and that the surface of the tire doesn't go completely flat on the ground anymore. And that's why your tires wear more on the outside than on the inside, so it's not evenly distributed. So it's most ideally to have more camber on the car when you're really going hard on the racetrack, so you really utilize all of the surface of the tire itself, that it really touches the ground as much as possible when you're cornering. So basically in the corner, what the car will do is that it will straighten the tire again, so the complete surface of the tire is on the ground, and then you really use maximum grip. Now they altered this tire. I mean, I'm gonna keep the numbers a little bit secret for Manthey, but you can basically say the stock setup of the car when it comes from factory, it's around 1.2, 1.5 degrees of camber. And this is anywhere in between 2.5 and 3 degrees, of camber. So that's quite substantial. They also did a little bit on the rear as well. I'm not really sure if you will be able to see this. Yes, you really see it. So you see that it's really a lot more here, and the tire goes all the way inside. So I haven't done a lap yet, so I'm waiting until the Touristenfahrt is going to open at around 5:30. And then it will be my first couple of laps with the new setup. Now, why did I do this? Because the thing is, I've had this car now for 8 months, as many of my trustworthy viewers will know, that I've been lapping it hard. But what I felt was I wasn't so confident under braking, heavy cornering, taking the jump at Schwedenkreuz, because sometimes the car feels really a little bit iffy. Also has to do with the rear wheel steering, because if you don't have the real good setup in camber, the rear wheel steering does really strange stuff if you're used to a really linear feeling with a car, Before this I had the GT4, and with the GT4 I felt I had a lot more confidence going into corners, going really at the limit more. Maybe that has to do with the mid-engine layout, that it already has more stability and flexibility in mid-corners. But with this car, it's a little bit more tricky, that I felt I can't push it as much as I did with the GT4. And that's why I decided to go with the Manthey-Racing setup. What else did they change? They also changed the brake pads. It looks like the stock brake pads for now, but when you look closer, you will see some green brake pads right over there. Just watching out for another car. You can see here that there are green race pads, and those are the Manthey-Racing brake pads. And basically they are also racing brake pads, which are still allowed for the roads. And that's also pretty cool. What else did they do? They also upgraded the brake fluid to an endless brake fluid, because with the stock car, the brakes are incredible, as with all Porsches. But what I felt is after multiple laps, I didn't really feel some fading, but I did feel I didn't get any more the consistency of braking. That has to do also with the brake fluid, because it becomes so hot, it starts boiling, and then it just loses almost, how do I say it, grabbing grip, of the brakes. And that's why we upgraded to the racing fluid. And what they also did is they upgraded the braided brake lines, the brake lines, 2 braided brake lines. I cannot show you this, but the braided brake lines, normally it's a normal tube that goes from the brake cylinder to the pads. But now it's like a braided brake lines with a rubber in between and also a metal mesh around. And what is that for? That is because of high temperatures, a lot of pressure. It's normally with a rubber hose, it expands and retracts a lot during hard braking. And with these ones, it just stays stable, so you get a much more confident, consistent pedal feel when braking hard. So I'm really looking forward to how that will feel on the car, because braking is, everybody is always talking about horsepower and grip and traction, but one of the most important things in racing is the braking. The later you can brake, it's even more important than accelerating really hard into a corner or out of a corner, and because all of this goes through those little pads in the front and in the back. For the rest, that was also already before. I already a couple of months ago I upgraded I changed the angle of attack on the rear wing to maximum downforce. This is very easily done. Actually, the Porsche dealer did it. So you have multiple. Let me see if I can get this into focus for you guys. So this here, you see, it's you have multiple holes, and this is on the maximum angle of attack. So the wing goes much steeper. That creates more downforce. And also, for the rest, what we did is normally there's a mesh inside here. I don't know if you can see this because, of course, it's pretty black down there. Normally, there's a mesh down there, a plastic mesh, because it's not legal to see your tires when you are driving. But of course, because I'm only using the track for the Nordschleife, the mesh has been removed to get more air out of the louvers to create more downforce on the front, and in that way create more stability. Another really important thing that they did after setting up the camber was to completely balance out the car. Now they do this with corner weighing, so they put each corner of the car on a scale, and then they put my driver weight in as sandbags in the driver's seat, and also a full tank of fuel, and then they have their base reference, and there they try to balance out the car with the suspension to around 50%. Now we achieved 49.9, which is really close enough. You will not feel the difference between 49.9 or 50. And after that, also very important, is that they did a complete alignment of the steering wheel and the tires. And they do this with 4 lasers, and then you can really check if the steering wheel is completely 100% straight. And that really helps with the feel of the car into the corners. Now, that's basically everything that has been done. One other big thing, which maybe other viewers will already have seen on my previous laps, but I changed the tires to the brand new and the best in the world, the Cup 2Rs. Now these tires are so amazing. I cannot accentuate that enough. It's a racing tire for the road. I don't know how Michelin did it, but the grip that it gives over the standard Cup 2 N2s, I mean, I can take corners in a feeling. I can almost go twice as hard in a corner in some speeds, well, the feeling at least, you know. And still there's so much more grip to be given. Sorry to block up the license plate in a really sketchy way. Didn't have any other tape, but I like a little bit of privacy still. But the tires, to go again about the tires are really, really amazing. And they're all the way to give the 7 minutes 17 bridge to gantry that I've just done. Most of it is just the tires, you know. It really gives immediately 8 seconds a lap of difference. And those are exactly the same tires that they also used for the record around the Nordschleife of 6 minutes and 40 seconds with the GT3RS MR, but also the record that, well, not the record, but the fastest time that Porsche did with this GT3RS, driven by the amazing driver Kevin Estre. And they also used the Cup 2R tires. They are not the cheapest, but I was surprised because I was doubting if I would upgrade or not. They are not the cheapest, but they're about 600 to 700 euros extra over the standard stock N2 tire, which of course is a lot, but then again, it's not enormous. I thought it was like double the price or something, which really helped me back. But then when I really started to investigate it, I found out that the price is around 2,100, 2,200 euros for a set of 4 tires, which is a lot, but it all depends how long you can run with it. Now that brings me to another point, durability with these tires. Now I've done about 10 laps, and the look of the tire is really starting to degrade a little bit. Now, colleagues of mine here, you know, fast drivers, they say it's really a qualifying tire. You stick it on, you have 10 laps, full attack, and then the tire is gone. I hope it's not the case. Let's see, because with the N2s, I could really do, let's say, 50 laps without any problem until 65 laps, and then it really starts sliding around. These ones, I still have grip after 10 laps, that's fine. So let's see how long they can last around the Nordschleife. If they don't last, you know, at least 50 laps or something, probably I will go back to the N2s just to get more of a, more laps for the tires, you know, a little bit more bang for your buck. But then again, I was really amazed with the tire, and maybe there's no way of going back because everything else will be slower, because the N2s I mean, they're still good tires, but they're really sliding around if you go on the same speed. These tires are really the tire that is needed for the GT3RS, in my opinion. Lighter cars like the GT4, they were fine with the standard Cup 2s, but the GT3RS with now a little bit, you know, becomes heavier and heavier with a little bit of more weight on them. It starts to slide really, really fast with the normal tires. And also something that at least gives me 50 more horsepower, and that's a Manthey-Racing sticker. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe I'll do a little bit more like these in the future, just to give you my experience, but more on experience on really driving on the track properly, and not so much only about the aesthetics or horsepowers or whatever, but really use this car what it's made for, and that is only to lap around amazing tracks like the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Guys, hope to see you soon, and let's see what this car can do with the new setup. Bye.